So it seems like nowadays studios are trying to find that newest trend with their format of their films with these lower budget movies to try to gain more money and get their money's worth out of them. And we've seen this with the found footage format, movies like Blair Witch, the first Cloverfield movie, and of course the Paranormal Activity movies. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And now we've seen this with this new genre film, which the producers come to coining the screen life genre. And the first movie we kind of saw this with was the Unfriended movie a couple years back. And I enjoyed that movie, but it felt like it was more of a gimmick rather than trying to tell the best story possible with that format. And with this movie, it felt like the genre really helped engage you in the film and tell a really compelling story. Within the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was locked in because it goes through this great montage of getting to know this family and this passage of time, what this family goes through. I got really connected to these characters, and the format of this movie allows for a really engaging experience because you get information the same time John Cho's character gets it, and you try to solve this mystery along with him. And I got a real like James Stewart feel with Rear Window. Like you don't see what he doesn't see, you only see what he sees, and that just, again, it allows for a really engaging movie-going experience. And one of the things that I really got attached to in this movie was the story of the father looking for his daughter, because as a parent of a newborn baby girl, I really connected with this story because this movie is essentially about every parent's fear of losing their child and feeling helpless at some point. And I really connected with this because I have a baby girl with me right now, and just the story of a father looking for his daughter, I really connected with that. Cast-wise, there's very few people in this film. It's really all falls on John Cho's character, in which he absolutely kills it in this film. I loved his performance in this movie. It goes through this really rich gamut of emotions in this film. His arc, both performance and character-wise, was something that I really enjoyed. Because when the movie starts off, he's sort of this carefree guy that's just trying to connect with his daughter and dealing with the loss of his wife. And going from that, by the end of the movie, he's gone through pain, like anger, frustration, panic, and just all this gamut of emotion he did so well, and just giving him props because he's basically acting on his own, because he's really just talking to a camera into like either a phone or a computer screen. And I said give him all the props in the world for his performance. And character-wise, he starts off thinking he knows his daughter. By the end of it, he's learned so much about his daughter that he really has to rethink of like ways he approaches her and how to deal with just like family ties and things like that. I loved his character and his performance in this movie, and the direction in this movie is fantastic as well. Just again, having it being from one person's perspective, you have to have the audience be focusing on certain parts of the screen, and it lends a little bit of misdirection as well, because going back and watching this movie probably maybe a second time, you'll pick out things that you didn't notice before, because at the end of the movie they go back and explain a couple of things, and key pieces of evidence are right there in plain sight, and you just blew my mind that I didn't even notice that before. And another thing this movie does really well is setting up and paying off certain story beats, because everything that happens in this movie comes around to affect the main narrative. There's no wasted narrative in this movie, because at some points you might think that this movie takes a left turn, and it's like, why is that in the movie? Why do they have to pay attention to that? Because this happens because of that, and this girl is here because of this, and this happens because of that, and it was just so well done that I have to applaud the movie for that. I really like the themes that this movie is exploring as well. There's this idea that parents may not necessarily know their children as well as they think they do sometimes, because they may act a certain way in front of them, but then once they get away from their parents, they act a completely different way. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, because it really attached itself to John Cho's character arc, and he thought he knew his daughter, but by the end it's a completely different outlook. Also, they really explore the whole side of social media and how people use it to its advantage, and like how you can sort of present yourself to the online world and make them see what you want them to see, but then on the inside you're a completely different person. And it shows just all sides of the media and how like you can use it to your advantage, because there's some points where people that pretend to be this girl's friend use the tragedy of her missing to turn the attention on themselves and get themselves more attention. I just really liked how it explored all different angles of social media and how we present ourselves to the world. Really, when it comes down to it, I don't have any big issues with this movie. I will say that the answers to the mystery aren't as satisfying as the mystery itself, if that makes any sense, because there's a point in this movie where it turns down this really dark story point, and I thought if they would have stuck to that, this movie would have been really ballsy in its ending. But it turns again, and the actual answer to the mystery is just kind of like, all right, I didn't see that coming at all, but I kind of felt a little underwhelmed with the ending. And also, this movie does become a little predictable at times. Not the fact that I could see who did what, but like, all right, this is when he's going to find out another big piece of information. This is when another piece of evidence is going to be revealed. And I really wish they would have hid those moments a bit better, but those are just small little nitpicky things because I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was amazing, especially when you're just seeing this movie from basically one person's perspective. So in the end, I would highly recommend you go see this movie. The singular perspective doesn't hinder this film at all. It actually enhances the movie-going experience. I was locked in the entire time in this movie, and John Cho absolutely crushes it in this role. So I'm giving Searching 4.5 out of 5 stars. So now I want to know what you think. If you saw Searching, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to like and share it, and stay up to date on all the videos going up on this channel. Give that subscribe button a click. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.